Hey, you're that one guy who had that presentation on the fishing thing. I don't know I didn't really pay attention, but I like fishing, so can you tell me more about that? Hey, yeah, of course. I love educating people on things like this. This particular thing is called overfishing. So, why is it such a big deal, this overfishing thing? Why don't we just let the fish be? Okay? The reason we can't just let the fish be is because people are massively overutilizing the resource. People like the World Wildlife Fund have identified the issue. Wow. It's been recognized as an issue by the World Wildlife Fund. What's more is that the amount of fish that have been caught that we can't replenish, that we can't replace, have increased by 300% in the last half century. In the last 50 years, we've lost over 300% of some fish populations. That's a lot of fish. So how do we solve these problems? Well, one thing we can do is to limit the amount of fish that people can catch. Okay, but how do we inform people of this new catch limit? How will they know? We can educate the public by putting up, flyers and signs around the lakes where they fish so that they know about the new catch limit, as well as putting signs in prolific places like where they go to actually get their fishing licenses. Okay, so what kind of laws will be passed, and how will we know that the solution is working? Of course, a law can be passed that uses a punch card system, where when someone goes to get their license renewed after it expires, they can all just get the punch card, and every time they catch a fish, they have someone punch a card. They show them the fish, or even a picture of it. And then we can watch the populations of the fish carefully and make sure that our solution is working. Another weak solution that we could do was we could limit the amount of corporate fishing that goes on. Well, what do big companies have to do with this? What do they do to influence the fish? You see, a lot of what big companies do is they use giant nets to get as many fish as possible, and in a lot of that, the net draws through the bottom of the sea, resulting in habitat loss. Okay, how can we educate the public about these solutions that need to happen? How can we help them to understand why this needs to happen? Maybe we could do signs and figures up in, again, the places where people buy fishing licenses. Okay, what kind of laws need to be passed to make this happen, to make it so that we can actually do this? We could do multiple laws saying that there needs to be more funding to the Coast Guard so they can watch and go around to make sure that corporates aren't actually using these giant bottom-trawling nets, which are illegal. What can I do about this? How do I help? I can't help. I'm just a normal guy. Of course you can help. Even a normal guy like you can help. What you can do is you can support laws and decisions, sign petitions and things that make it harder for giant companies and corporations to use these bottom-trawling nets and stop overfishing. Another thing you could do is you could help pass laws that completely get rid of corporate fishing. But once we've done these things, how do we know it worked? How can we tell that we did something? We'll definitely need to watch the populations rise and fall and watch them carefully so as to make sure that they don't fall too far beyond the point of return, and make sure that we can keep these levels rising steadily as the time goes on. Yes, of course, and if it's found that a company or someone has been violating these rules, or that the solutions didn't work, then we need to reevaluate our decisions and make sure that we can change them to get it right this time. Make sure that they actually work and look back at the source. What was the issue? What was the real issue or the perceived issue? Oh, maybe we could get more restrictive fishing licenses, like make it so that if you have a criminal record or like if you don't follow the criteria, you can't get a fishing license. Of course, we would have to have all sorts of signs and stuff up all over lakes and inside places where people actually buy fishing licenses. And a law would need to be passed to make fishing licenses more restrictive. And of course, we would need to see whether or not it worked. See and watch the populations of the fish and see how well it actually happened, if the populations are rising or still falling. Well, what do we do if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, we need to reevaluate our decisions. We need to keep up and make other plans. Man, isn't it amazing how well we work together? We're even wearing the same shirt.